Good morning, everyone. Whoever sees this right now and gets 25 friends to subscribe gets a free quarter. It just makes sense. You know, it wasn't always so bright and sunny. It was actually pretty dreary a moment ago. But maybe it's just because the sun has finally come out from behind the clouds. And it's been a little wet out lately. Good morning and welcome to Full Scale Friday. This is what a full reading looks like. And if you would like one, it's very simple. You drop down into the description down below, you hit the link tree, you go into my Modifius or Amazon wishlist, you throw me something off of that. Anything 35 and under gets you 2 readings and a birthday reading, and anything over that gets you 4 readings and a birthday reading. Very simple, and yes, you can use it as a gift for someone else. So, with all of that out of the way, and I'm just going to be done with it. It's over and done. Okay. Today, I've decided to take a little old and a little new, and I don't know, these card combinations kind of spoke to me. So today we're using the Raven's Prophecy deck, we're using the Shaman's Dream Oracle, Spirit Animal Oracle, Viking Oracle, naturally, those are mainstays, and we're also using Witcharoon's Runes of the Gods today. So let's get into laying these cards out, shall we? We got a heck of a weekend, and tomorrow's live stream, I've already selected the topics because, boy, they have been all up in my feed in the last week. And they're going to be this new, it's going to be mostly centered around tabletop role-playing games, just letting you know. And it's going to be, let's see, oh, this again. Fuck off. We're getting the same spam calls you do, ladies and gentlemen. I just don't fuck off. Leave me alone. Don't care. They're calling me to offer me extra Medicare benefits, don't you know? Yeah. A man in his early 40s needs Medicare. Okay. Maybe some do. Maybe some do. I've met people who, my age and a little younger on it because of disability and stuff like that. But I'm not among them. And they claim they have all my information up on the screen, and I'm like, great, how old am I? What's my date of birth? And they claim that I'm wasting their time, and they hang up on me. Yes, because I'm sure professionals do things that way. Very nice. Such professionalism in their trade, is it not? Alright, here we go. Tarot cards are laid out. We're going with the Shaman's Dream Oracle next, then the runes, and then we're going to jump right into it. So I hope everyone has a great weekend. I hope everyone watching this right now will join us on the live stream. And if you would like to appear on the live stream, just say the word, I'll send an invite, and we'll do that thing. Because the whole point of it is for you to sit down, relax, discuss, and just have a cup of tea with me. We're just hanging out. But we'll be discussing things in the tabletop RPG circles, namely the Wizards of the Coast leaked Open Game License version 1.1. We will be discussing the Attack on Troll Lord games, the hit piece that was published by none other than PBS NewsHour, written by none other than Christopher Thomas. We will be discussing it all, and hopefully the gamers Declaration of Independence, where we will hopefully come up with something, the seeds of a solution, very, very soon. Alright, so let's get into it. What are we looking at this weekend? Who are we going to embody this weekend? It's none other than the Void. Normally we're being guided by this card, but really, we're not really deciding on anything, are we? We're going to be extremely neutral. That is a difficult thing to do because every one of us has a bias somewhere. Every one of us has that one thing that we lean to, one way or the other on. But for the most part, I see a lot of us just kind of saying, after this week, some of us are like, hey, we're ready to step out of this. We don't want any part of this. And that's completely understandable. Believe me, I'm with you on that. But sometimes it's good to just get out of it. This is a good weekend to engage in a little escapism with friends. To kind of indulge that. Get away from things for a little while. Get out into the woods, go to the lake, go to the river. Do whatever it is you gotta do. Go for a walk and just listen to music or an audiobook and just breathe free for a little while. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Being guided by Ragnarok. For some of us, things have to come to an end. Some of us are seeing an end to certain things right now. And those ends can be very, very frightening. However, things have to end for other things to begin. It's very simple. What I'm seeing here so far is you need a little time to kind of process this information. You need a little time to cope with it, and that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, I encourage it. You cannot stick your head into the game 24/7, 365 up to the nanosecond. Eventually, you will suffer overload. And once you've overloaded, you could blow a fuse, and that would be the end of a lot of things you don't want to end. In fact, it's funny that adage came up, blow a fuse. Do you know why fuses blow? It's because they get overloaded. And when the fuse blows, it is to protect the rest of the device. It acts as a mechanism to cut off the overload from the rest of things, so that when you replace the fuse, normal current can resume. We inaccurately and inadequately apply this term to someone who has just completely lost their shit. Man, that dude really blew a fuse the other day. Did you see that? Jeez. That is not an example of blowing a fuse. That is an example of overload. That's an example of meltdown. You can't blow a fuse and melt down at the same time. In fact, blowing the fuse prevents the meltdown. When you walk away from a situation, you throw your hands up, that's you blowing a fuse. That's you saying, I need a minute. It's okay to blow a fuse. Be that blown fuse for just a minute. You kind of need it. So you can replace it and you can go back to normal once you've got everything sorted out. See what I mean? Let's see what your spirit animal looks like. We got a horse spirit here telling you freedom is yours. You know, I was born in the year of the horse. Here's the funny part about this horse coming up. I chose the Raven's Prophecy deck. Of course, I'm a Libra. I do love balance in all things. So when the status quo shifts too far one way, I will inevitably pull the other. Because we do need to meet in the middle. We need a little harmony, and that's what we kind of pursue. It leads to a little indecisiveness at times. And indecision is one of the things that comes with none other than freedom. Freedom can be a very, very dangerous thing. And some people are absolutely frightened to death of it, because it means that they will have to do their own due diligence. They will have to accept that they cannot control everything. They will have to accept that they will have to look in the mirror and control no one but themselves. It also means things can be a little uncertain. But uncertainty is not the most scary thing you can deal with. In fact, it depends on how you're looking at things. It depends on your perspective. Uncertainty means that, it's not certain to turn out well. That much is true. But it's not certain to turn out terrible either. And you can do with it what you want. It will be what you make of it. And so far, I'm seeing more and more people kind of getting away from that which is killing them right now. We're blowing the fuse, aren't we? We're going to blow that fuse, we're going to toss that fuse out, we're going to put in a new one, we're going to be just fine. But you may need to step away. Let's have a look at your mental state right now. You've got a 6 of Wands for the Winter Circle. You've got a 6 of Coins. You've got a Knight of Cups. Start with that 6 of Wands here. Like I said, Winter Circle. Winter, chicken dinner, baby. This is where, starting out, we're really in that state of, how can I, we're starting in that state of something of triumph. A lot of us have been right about certain things. We're being vindicated on a lot of our predictions. And some of us, when I call them predictions, I mean you've analyzed the trends, you've looked at the past, you've seen what goes on then, you can apply it to now, you can see certain patterns emerging, and then you make a prediction based on that pattern, and then it happens. You're called crazy, you're called absolutely nuts, no one wants to hear it, but now people are like, wait a minute, I seem to have heard something like that, and you're like, yeah, I'm the one that told you about it. So we are seeing a lot of vindication there. But here's the thing, it's how you handle that vindication that matters. And where you handle that vindication is some generosity. This is not, I told you so. This is, let me show you how I arrived at that conclusion. Because this is dealing with very real, very tangible things. And you have to be able to stand on what's real and tangible in order to get the results. It also takes kind of taking emotion out of it sometimes. But you are going to be dealing with some emotions. You will be able to understand that yes, this is very youthful. This is almost adolescent emotion to some level. But it is also bearing it responsibly. Because our first reaction whenever we see our vindication come up is, haha, told you so, dumbass. And then you go beating up the other person. I told you about this a dozen times, you never listened. Well, let me ask you this. In all the times that you've ever been beaten over the head about something, have you ever changed your mind over it? No. You've dug your heels in harder. Because it doesn't, and you've argued from these completely weird standpoints. Anything to be right. Right? It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. You pretend to have authority that you don't really have. Pretend to have knowledge you don't really have. It comes from cognitive dissonance. And since we're talking about the mind, those two things have been very prevalent lately in a lot of different areas. Let's have a look at your physical state. we have Justice. We have the Queen of Wands. We also have a Knight of Swords. With Justice right now, how are you achieving that balance in your physical life? We talk a lot about like work-life balance and things like that. Work-life balance is important. I can tell you right now, if it weren't for certain things, we wouldn't have weekends. I saw a post, someone booed, which was Henry Ford announced his 8-hour, 5-day work week. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and weekends off. And people were like, boo. I'm like, you don't understand what it was like before that. Before that, people were working 12, sometimes 14, even 16 hours a day. Sometimes 7 days a week, sometimes without a break. The fact is, we may have grown too accustomed to certain things that we need to be a little uncomfortable just to understand just how accustomed, how soft, and how lazy we've become. So, what are you doing to give yourself that break? I'm telling you right now, that's exactly what it is. Believe one thing, the mind is syncing up completely with the physical. The Queen of Wands speaks with authority. Speaking that truth to power, speaking fire. But when the Queen of Wands speaks, it is true. It is factual. It is standing on something very solid. And it's at the center of this entire thing. So what are you doing to speak your truth to power? And it's not your truth, it has to be something solid. Your truth, if it's just you making stuff up, well, guess what? There's a name for it. It's called bullshit. And the Knight of Swords is very quick and decisive action. You need to know what to do and when to do it when the conflict arises. You cannot combat irrationality with more irrationality. It's just that simple. Spiritually speaking, we cannot let the spirit just go, can we? And I am absolutely not in any way surprised to see this spread come up in the spirit, because the first things first, it's the hermit. Remember what I said about taking a step back, getting away from things for a little bit? Yeah, you need to. Even the most powerful soldier on the front line needs support. Needs to have that place where they can fall back, where they can reload, where they can, listen, look, and try to gain a sense of all the chaos of where they are and where their enemy lies, and how they can effectively combat that enemy. King of Coins, it's time to get yourself in order here. King of Coins, King of Cups, both of them. We are dealing with coins and cups. We're dealing with reality and emotion right here. We're dealing with mastery of it. We're dealing with having control, or having your head on your shoulders so that you can deal with matters in a very real and effective way. I just gave you a summary of just both cards right there. So far, we're being told that it's time to exercise a little of that personal freedom. Get a little me time in here. Let's see what the oracles have here. Radical acceptance. You know what? I'll be covering that tomorrow. For real, that's going to be one of the things I really want to bring up and discuss. Radical acceptance does not mean that you have to accept every bit of bullshit that comes your way. It means you're going to have to understand where that comes from. And if you've been wrong, you will have to admit that. Remember what I said about Dunning-Kruger here. If you don't, it's okay to say, I don't know. I don't know what to do right now. It's okay to ask someone else, hey, what do you do in this case? I ruled this way, but I may be wrong. And if you're wrong, it's okay to admit you're wrong. Just so long as you don't do it again. That's all that's ever asked. Radical acceptance and forgiveness, that's where that comes from. You're over it. Just move on to the next thing. It's fine. Now, here's where we're going to hit the wall. Obstacles. Ouch. I can name a few obstacles right now. Oh, I can't take a break from that. It'll fall apart without me. Oh, they keep saying I'm the best at this, so if I step away, it's going to go right to hell, and I'm going to have to clean up that fucking mess. Well, sometimes the lessons that you learn are from things that you regret. And that's from a Biohazard song. The full quote, for the context, the ways of urban life are not as they seem. Standing up and fighting is what living here means. In order to survive, you have to earn your respect. The only lessons that you learn are from things that you regret. And that's from the song Urban Discipline. I invite every one of you to go listen to it. After this, of course. But we hit those walls. Why do we hit those walls? Do we keep running into them? You know, I've said this a lot. Complaining about something someone else does that you have no control over is a lot like banging your head against the wall and bitching when you get a concussion. You were warned. Don't do that. And what did you do? You kept doing it. That's why you end up where you end up. Some lessons have to be learned very painfully. Pain is a motivating factor for just about everybody. There is no greater motivator than pain. Spiritually speaking, here's where the good news comes in. A perfect storm. Note the raven there. Have that courage to step into life. You're going to need to withdraw a little bit. Get your head together. Can you go around that wall or over it? But you're going to have to do something. And you're going to have to make those decisions very quickly. What kind of a person are you going to be this weekend? That's another thing the Void points out, is the choice is up to you. You can continue on your path, and you can suffer the consequences, or you can change things about you, because you're the only thing that you can control. Let's have a look at your runes and we'll get out of here. We've got Wunyo. Wunyo pointing right at that winner circle there. The raised flag of victory. We've got Raiho. This is super interesting coming into this column because that's all about the journey, not the destination. And then finally, we've got Ingvaz, or Inguz. That unity again. Start right here. It's all about victory. It's all about you raising that flag and saying, you know what, I've got this. You're going to have to make the decision. If you want to be the winner, you have to make the correct choices in order to win. You have to employ the proper tactics. It's not just optics anymore. Optics will only get you so far. Tactics are what make everything. And sometimes the best offense is a good defense. Sometimes, but, you know, again, you can't win a game on defense alone. Righto. Now, there are many, many paths to get to the destination. The question is, which one will you take and why? Some paths are better than others. You and I may arrive at the same destination, but I can tell you if you took a shortcut, you missed out on a lot of stuff. Might have taken me a little longer to get there than you, but maybe I came out ahead. Or maybe you came out ahead with that shortcut. Who knows? Only you can decide your path. Only you can look at your situation and say, okay, I've got this. I know exactly what to do now. But you're going to need to take a step moment. You need to blow that fuse for a moment. Get your head together. Get your mind, your body, and spirit to working together. Here is that unity. Mind, body, spirit, working together with others, getting together. Get it together. I can't stress that enough. Get it together. Blow that fuse. Then put a new one in so the entire system can work again. It's not going to infringe upon your freedom. You are free to do whatever you're like. You're free to disregard this entire damn message and say, you know what? Wolfgar's full of shit, and move on. You are free to do that. You are also free to hang on this message's every word. You're also free to just take the parts that apply to you. You're also free to share it with someone who might need it. Don't think of it as me telling you what to do this weekend, because I am not telling you what to do this weekend. I am saying, make your decisions, but make sure they stand on solid ground. Because every building must have a solid foundation, otherwise it will crumble eventually. And I hope that helps. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to me ramble and rant and rave and carry on. Hopefully you'll do it again tomorrow. Tomorrow is likely to be a very long episode. I will be seeing you on Runecasting Wednesdays and Full Scale Fridays just like this from here on out for the foreseeable future. Just remember what I always close with. I love you all. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Actually, you know what, before I close out, before I do that, let me pause right here. I did want to say something, and Yo Dano, if you're watching, my deepest sympathies on the loss of your friend Brian. I saw the empty chair eulogy on Twitter, and I'm not gonna lie, right now the candle on the altar is lit for him today. And with that in mind, keep in mind this man was 2 years older than me and passed away of a heart attack unexpectedly. Ladies and gentlemen, life is very short. We will meet our end at some point. It's how we meet it that counts. And so with that in mind, remember, I love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Whatever you do, remember life is short. So always do what lights you up. And no matter what, shine on.